This week on Analog, it's a Get On My Level extravaganza! We're talking about Gommel 2018.
Yeah, we talk about Gommel, we talk about why vanilla sucks, and we discuss how Fendrick Lamar is the next big up-and-coming Marth player.
Yeah, I have some pretty personal thoughts about my own commentary this weekend, and we just talk about Get On My Level, the stories from there, Mochi, Zain losing to Hybrid, all the stuff you've come to expect.
Well, we try to talk about Gommel. You'll find out. This is Analog. What's up, guys? Welcome to Analog, where Zane's Yoshi knowledge becomes more useful every week.
It's the only thing keeping me useful at this point.
Yeah. Another plug for getting Zain to commentate your events.
I think
Amsa consistently placing in the top 5.
I made a commentary feedback thread for Gommel.
I did see that. And you had some good feedback from what I saw.
Fuck off. I forgot to make this comment because you commented and were like, oh wow, I love Eve. So glad I can hear him talk with Rishi every week on @analogcast. And I forgot I wanted to comment and be like, you are making a mockery of my feedback thread. But like the only feedback I got was on knowing stuff about Yoshi. It was really funny.
Let's go.
It was like,
I saw people were like, thank God there's finally someone who knows the difference between a double jump and a parry.
I was gonna reply something way more shady to that, like, thanks, it's actually crazy that you're praising me for this, but thank you. But I didn't want to be like, since I had posted it, I didn't want to come across as a little bit like shady.
Yeah.
But hey guys, it's not the same. A new era of commentary maybe these days.
Yeah.
I actually had a really good conversation with this guy, Smack, who I think is a European Yoshi player, who was correcting me on some of the stuff that I said about Yoshi, so I enjoyed that.
Hey, I got 44 upvotes.
I think you had the most upvoted comment of like the entire thread. I'm pretty sure.
That means we got fans. Let's go.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to you guys listening at home. Or listening wherever you're listening. If it's me, I'm listening at my desk at work.
I never listen to it. I listen while I'm editing, but like I try to listen to it.
Shoutouts to future me listening to this at work in the next couple of days.
Do you think you'll remember that you shouted yourself out like when you're going to listen to it?
No. And they'll be like, oh, thanks. Me?
Great.
Yeah.
Glad you can help yourself.
Yeah. It's really great.
Yeah, but shoutouts to Smack, who was like, he actually made me think. I was having thoughts today about how Yoshi's better than everyone thinks because of Smack.
Really?
Yeah, because
this guy.
I said something on commentary that I sort of misspoke a little bit, which is that I said like, oh yeah, when you force Yoshi to shield, you know, he only has a limited amount of options. He has drop shield, spot dodge, roll, and grab, and those are all pretty bad. And Smack is saying, like, you know, spot dodge and drop shield aren't that bad, which is true, because what I was really trying to say is you shouldn't attack Yoshi when he's shielding unless you're trying to, like, unless you really are trying to break his shield or get it low, because you're not going to shield poke, and all you're doing is you're forcing him to do the same options he would be doing, but giving him a frame advantage for it. That's literally all you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, spot dodge is good, actually.
Spot dodge is really good. Spot dodge down smash is actually
That's what I was going to say, because it comes out on, what, like frame 5 or something?
Down smash? Yeah, something like that. But also, drop shield is amazing. And I knew this. It was just me not speaking properly.
Yeah.
But Smack opened my eyes to how good it is, because shield release is 16 frames, which is, I think, almost exactly the same frame window for Sheik's, for catching tech in place with Sheik down throw.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's close to testing human reaction speeds. Yeah. So drop shield is amazing, actually.
Well, when I'm messing with people, I'll pick Yoshi and I'll be like, hey, you know, Yoshi can actually jump out of shield. And I'll just drop shield and jump, and it looks so fast.
It looks really
fast. That they actually think I'm jumping out of shield.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
But yeah, so shoutouts to Smack for correcting me. I actually really appreciate that. But still also put me on commentary for all your Yoshi sets. That's one of the few VODs I haven't gotten back to rewatching yet to see how hard Twitch chat roasted me.
Yeah. Man, not reading Twitch chat is like a pretty healthy thing to do, but I still do it.
I think it depends, actually. I was talking to Marco, shoutouts to Marco, who I stayed with this whole weekend, about this. I think if you can filter appropriately, I think you should read Twitch chat.
Yeah. I guess it's a good way to gauge feedback as a commentator too.
Yeah, exactly, because I'm well aware that it's only 1% of people commenting in Twitch chat, and of those people, 90% of them are people I can ignore.
True.
For like what's actually good commentary.
Yeah.
But I still do think that I would like to commentate in a way that doesn't get me roasted by Twitch chat.
Yeah.
Just in general. So if I see what's getting me roasted by Twitch chat, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
That's why I stopped saying backup on commentary, or to refer to the backup climber even when it's actually Popo.
Yeah.
Because it gets me roasted even though it's correct.
Yeah.
And
only Diz says that.
I don't care. Yeah, and the whole reason I do it is because I like learned that matchup playing with him and like have known him for a super long time. So and it's correct. It's true.
It is true.
So
it is true. I do the same thing. I have to like stop myself and to not sound like obnoxiously overcorrect.
Yeah.
Let's just say Popo and Nana.
That's something I thought about a lot during... I talked to Taffa about this. We can talk about this later when I talk about commentary in more detail, but not being... Yeah, it's something I thought about.
But in case any of you are out of the loop, we are basically talking about Get On My Level 2018.
Yep.
Because we were both there this weekend.
Yeah.
You competed too, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you competed, you commentated.
I did interviews.
You did interviews?
Those will be going up... if this goes up... I'm going to put the interviews up at the same time as the podcast, I think, just because I don't want to hold the interviews too much longer. So if you're watching this and you haven't watched my interviews, they're probably on Reddit right now. Please go upvote them.
Check them out.
Along with upvoting this on Reddit if you got it from our Twitter or YouTube subscriptions.
Yeah. But yeah, we were both there. And it was like the tournament to be at this weekend. So that's what we'll be spending most of today talking about.
Yeah. Also, like, the tournament to be at, I think it was a fucking amazing tournament, dude.
Probably one of my favorite tournament experiences that I've been to, and it's so easy to kind of like not realize that because it's way easier to realize when something goes wrong.
Wrong, yeah.
But there are so many tournaments where dumb stuff happens that it's like, wow, nothing really went wrong.
I think aside from some weird scheduling stuff with Gommel on day 3, it was hands down like my favorite tournament experience in honestly like the past year. Like Genesis was amazing, but a lot of the reason it was amazing is because Genesis is just always magical storylines, and because for me it was in my hometown and I fucking love Oakland and there was good food everywhere, so that just made it a really easy tournament experience for me.
Right.
I also didn't really experience Genesis like I've talked about many times. I was working like the whole time, but I don't know that I've been to... I think this is like head and shoulders above, in terms of a being there experience, above most other tournaments I've been to. Yeah,
my favorite tournament to be at every year is Evo.
Yeah.
And that's largely because like everyone's there. I personally love the spectacle of seeing all the other fighting games.
Yeah, same, absolutely.
I think like, you can't go wrong with Vegas being your venue, and like Sunday finals day is always so exciting. But Evo kind of has that reputation, and Gommel still actually feels more like one of those grassroots types tournaments.
It does, but at the same time, I was while I was there thinking that Evo was the tournament it felt the most like. It's what set it apart is that it felt like Evo a little bit to me, in the way that these days every tournament is in like a showroom, it seems like, or a convention center. But I feel like Gommel's the only one that made me also feel. SmashCon also does this actually, but that made me feel like. I walked into the venue and I was like, whoa, holy shit, this is so cool.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like there was a really small artist alley, but it was just like, I don't know if you guys saw, there were these gigantic tank cars with the Red Bull logos painted on them, and you could play Fortnite in the back of them. And then a bunch of the CRTs were spray painted to say Gommel and say Red Bull on them. The spray paint was amazing. I think way more tournaments should look into... making the venue one you can remember.
That's actually exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. Because there's a lot of aspects of production that only get experienced by the viewers at home. And I felt like the effort that they put into the production this time around kind of bled over to the actual in-person tournament experience, which was so cool. Just like getting to play on stage on these like basically graffitied CRTs that say like, get on my level, Red Bull gives you wings.
So cool.
And they're like the color theme basically persists throughout the entire venue. My brother called the Red Bull trucks esports utility vehicles. So shout outs to him.
That's really funny. I talked to your brother for the first time this weekend.
Really?
I exchanged like one sentence with him. It was while you were standing next to me. It was when, I forget who it was, someone got a forward hit of up tilt.
With his pulls.
And he was about to say something. I was like, that's what you put in your... what's the most example of Fox privilege?
Yeah.
I think that's actually what I said is the most advantage of Fox
really,
privilege.
that's what you voted for?
Yeah, because I don't think jab up smash is that... Like, it...
I think jab up smash is dumb, and I spam it a lot.
I think it's dumb, but for me, when Fox privilege happens, the way I think of Fox privilege is like, oh, that's something that Fox got stupidly, like that he just got because he's such a good character. And jab up smash is like, it's dumb. It's because he's such a good character that he gets to have an auto kill confirm off of his least committal move in the entire game. Yeah. But also, like, it's a technique still. Like, it's a dumb technique that's really strong, but it's not like you up tilt and then because his up tilt is just broken, it still works out for you. Yeah.
Up tilt is also one of those weird moves where the hitbox can be different based solely on whether the opponent is grounded.
Yes, it can.
Which is like really bizarre. You might have been involved in this Twitter thread where where we were talking about how Yoshi's double jump armor only reduces knockback a set amount.
Right, and
so someone mentioned that up tilt can break it. But then Strongbad pointed out that you can never get that hitbox because the double jump armor will always get Yoshi to get hit by the airborne hitboxes of up tilt.
Yeah, it was because Leffen was asking for Yoshi info at Summit, Sleepy K replied
with the list of Fox moves.
With the list, and then Strongbad pointed out that it wasn't that it was like up tilt will never break it. It was that the percentage was off because the strong hitbox that was being considered is one that only works on grounded opponents. So
I remember Pew Pew talking about that too with regard to breaking your opponent out of a grab in teams, because I think it's the same thing. It has to be a certain amount of knockback to actually get them out. So whether or not they're like airborne or grounded, once they get grabbed, changes the hitbox that they get hit by on up tilt, even if the spacing is pixel the same.
Yeah, it's super duper cool. This is also, by the way, why if you guys ever see that up tilt hitbox that sends people like diagonally over Fox's head, like that's the grounded one. You won't get that with the airborne hitbox, so that's why that happens.
Yeah, a lot of weird stuff. I feel like I keep learning more about Melee.
Yeah,
and I learned things today that I didn't want to learn, but we'll get to that. Just about the responses to my tweets about vanilla Melee.
Oh yeah. We'll talk about that.
That was my one gripe with Gommel, is that it ran vanilla Melee.
Oh, okay. That was one of my two gripes with Gommel.
What was your other one?
My other gripe was some of the scheduling on day 3.
Yeah, not having top 24 streamed.
So, well, it was streamed. I did all of it. Well, not all of it.
Not all of it.
That was the thing. So there were two things with the scheduling on day 3. One was that they tore down setups really early.
That was really annoying.
Which I think is just because a lot of them were grassroots lent by people who came to the tournament.
The ones that were lent were the ones that were left up.
Really? Oh, that's weird. I guess it was just
they had setups provided by Affinity Play, which is some company,
and they needed to get them out of there.
Yeah, so all the Affinity Play setups, which was like a few pools worth, a few stations worth of like 5, all of those got torn down by 5:30, which was pretty annoying.
That was annoying. And then the other thing was that, so when they started top 24, they started it at 2. And stream literally wasn't scheduled to start until 2:30. Mm-hmm. The stream scheduling for Melee was a little weird in general. Jack and I started our block at 2:30, and Fendy and Brandon were scheduled to start at 3. And then
that's weird.
And then because it was because they were going to be on mainstream, and that was when they were expecting to be done with Wii U and tearing down and everything. Yeah. And then Fendy and Brandon didn't start until way later, and Jack and I ended up commentating like almost every set in top 24.
So that's how Fendy ended up commenting 4 sets?
Yeah, he only commentated 4 sets.
Dang.
And I think that's actually because they started before commentary did, because the really brief explanation I got is that to avoid having people play their winners set and then their losers set immediately after.
Okay.
They were just trying to throw all the sets on, but they were also trying to have Fendy and Brandon only be winners sets until they had losers sets to do.
I see.
But they just couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Because they had fucking 4 winners sets to do.
Right,
That was it. Yep. And so then Jack and I actually got to commentate 2 of the winners side sets too.
Yeah.
Which was cool because I got to commentate Axe versus Amsa and drop all my
there you go.
All my Yoshi knowledge.
Yeah.
But so that scheduling was a little weird. Like I said, I'm happy that I got to commentate more. I do feel really, really bad for Fendy and Brandon. Although I know they were both super cool about it. Like, definitely like a little sad, but they were both like, yeah, it's not your fault. And Brandon was like, dude, I didn't even want to commentate top 8. Now I just get to go degen. That's what he was saying to me the night before, too. He was so happy about not commentating top 8 at this tournament.
The more I talk with Brandon recently, the more it kind of seems like commentary is burning him out. You get that feeling?
I don't even know if it's burning him out, because from what I've heard, he actually was amazing on commentary this weekend, too. Yeah. When he was with Fendy.
Not that he's like getting worse at it, just that he like wants to spend less time, backstage and more time like up front with people.
I get that sense too. I don't even know if it's like something where we're going to see like a big change where he's going to retire like Phil or something. So. It's just that he's like, it's gotten like, commentary. It's what I do now. He's used to it.
Yeah.
I also had a realization this weekend that I should have had a really long time ago, that top 24 or top 32, like it usually is by far the best commentary slot at the entire tournament.
Oh, yeah.
At most tournaments.
Of course.
Because top 8... So I left for top 8. I just went into Toronto because I hadn't been in the city yet, and I had a friend who I know from HTC who was in the city. And so I just went into Toronto, and we like walked around the city and got Japanese food and cheesecake. And I watched top 8 from my phone when I had time, and I was like, yeah, this is boring as shit. I know he's going to win everything.
Yeah.
Come on. I know exactly what's going to happen. Even when it was Plup H-Box, I was like, this is one set where maybe if I were there, I would be more interested because I'm sure the crowd would be hyped as Plup is winning. But like, whatever, dude. I got to commentate the stakes honestly sometimes matter more for top 32 sets.
I agree.
Because at the top 5 or whatever, it's this rotating cast of people who win every time. But getting top 8 is such a big accomplishment for so many of these players who are trying to make that cut.
Yeah.
So that can be so huge.
You get to track their path up through top 8.
Yeah.
To get to top 8.
Yeah, and just that, I think the top 8 qualifier match, like, I don't know, unless it's an amazing tournament, every tournament has good top 8 qualifier matches. Like, you remember...
let's just list off the ones that we had.
You remember Hugo Shoutout at EVO? That was the best EVO, by the way.
Oh my God. What, 2015?
Yeah, that was of the EVOs I've been to in person, because that was the one where there wasn't enough room, so everyone was in a sea of people. It was
that was actually my first out-of-region event, fun fact.
Really?
I'd never been outside of MDVA.
I think that was my first out-of-region event, too.
No way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really
I remember
funny.
just getting like so drained so quickly, and I was like, wow, I'm going to die here. I had to like sit in the corner and like charge my phone. And now it's like a breeze.
EVO's so much easier now too. Yeah. It feels different for sure.
I just mean like any out-of-region tournament. Because for the first time, it's like you're just trying to play Melee all the time. You're trying to see everything. You're trying to be ready, like on your game. But then like it's so
that tournament was like though, because they just since EVO doesn't really care about Melee as much as other games, or it didn't then for sure.
We got shoved into some corners.
We were in some corners, and it made shit so hype because it was actually just a sea of people. But it was messy. That tournament had so many good sets and pools too.
Yeah.
That was the Drugged Fox tournament.
That was I remember. That was where he almost beat Leffen.
That was the Plup tournament.
Yeah. That was also where people told me that was the first time I made like an out-of-region upset that counted.
Who did you beat?
I beat Alan.
Oh.
Yeah, from NorCal.
Interesting. Did he go Sheik or Peach?
He went Peach. Yeah. I went Marth and Fox. I remember saying that I switched to Fox on Dreamline so I could keep him on Peach for game 3. Because I knew that's how I would win the set.
That's cool.
Because I was still pretty bad versus Sheik. Fun fact, like, back when Rishi was bad, this was how I strategized.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's
also, in all fairness, I also entered PM and Smash 4 at that tournament. And I had a Smash 4 pool at 8 a.m. playing Customs Rosa. And
that was the Customs
tournament. And me, Nakat, and what's the guy's name? Who's the guy that ended up playing? He used to play Olimar or something. He ended up playing Mewtwo. It got picked up by Panda for a while. No, not Abenango.
Rich Brown.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was Rich Brown. Me, Nakat, and Rich Brown were all in the same half of a round 1 pool.
That's really funny.
Let's talk about seeding of EVO 2015 for Smash 4. That was terrible.
That's not great.
So in round 1, there was the first match of the day was me versus Nakat, which goes to game 3, and then the rest of the day nothing happened.
Were you playing Kirby?
I was playing Rosa. Custom Rosa, yeah.
Oh god, dude, that was actually also, that tournament was all the more convincing for Zero to win it because customs were on.
Yeah.
And you saw some crazy custom shit.
Yeah.
And he still...
I think he played Vanilla Diddy.
He played Vanilla Diddy, and he did... Well, I don't think Diddy's customs were that amazing, were they?
I don't remember. Yeah. I honestly don't remember what they are.
But he didn't drop, anything.
Yeah.
I think he dropped, a game.
The way he won the tournament was insane.
Oh my god, that up smash combo.
Yeah, off the top of the platform.
It was actually so sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was back when Zero was fucking incredible, dude.
I mean, he's always been incredible.
Yeah, but that was before.
That's when he was passionate.
That was before he had even ever lost.
Yeah, that's true.
That was the peak, really, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we got off track.
Holy shit, it's been 20 minutes already and we haven't even talked about it. It's been 20 minutes?
Apparently.
Oh my god.
Buckle in, guys. Okay, let's actually, since you talked about the top 8 qualifiers, let's talk about them a bit.
Yeah.
The first one at the top of the bracket is HBox Crush, which went to game 5.
I didn't see it because I was commentating on the other stream.
Okay, so I watched part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just comment on the fact that Crush successfully recovered versus HBox 7 or 8 times in a row on the last stock of game 5.
And then he tournament winnered, right?
And then he tournament winnered.
That's so sad.
And he lost.
It was last stock. Was it last hit?
No, it wasn't last hit.
What stage was it?
Fountain.
Okay.
Because HBox had won on Battlefield and Dreamland. So he made the rare counterpick to Fountain. I don't think Crush let him go back.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, because we rarely see...
Oh, he didn't let him go back.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Usually they want to go back, but Crush forced him to go to Fountain because he's not going anywhere else, right? He has to go Fountain.
Yeah, there's no other place he can go.
I thought the ending to that set was so funny. When he did the tournament winner and lost, I was just like, this is one of the most melee things to ever happen. Crush, who's known for his clean play, has been talking smack for a few weeks with Leffen about the fashion sense of the melee community, which is apparently a hot button issue today.
Did you see
And then he loses after sick outplays and then just...
Did you see the tweet he made when he lost?
Yeah.
Love losing to when that was that feel when you have the wokest neutral game in Melee, but you lose to players who have been spamming fade back aerials and
fade back nair
and something else for 10 years.
And then Team Liquid basically
that was amazing.
Took the tweet verbatim and tagged
and wearing bootcut jeans.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Yeah, and then they were when Hungrybox won, it was bootcut jeans, check, fade back aerials, check, and all that shit. It was so fucking funny.
That was hilarious. Shoutouts to whoever's the new social media manager of Team Liquid. You're doing a good job. And then Axe beat Amsa. Honestly, I thought this was pretty convincing, even though it was game 5. And
I think so too.
Axe lost one game as Falco and won the rest of the set with Pikachu.
I thought it was convincing too from commentating it. I think Axe displayed... Well, Amsa, it was... it was one of those sets where they both were playing really, really well, but Axe displayed that he was better. Because Amsa edgeguarded Axe more than any player I have ever seen do. Straight up. Just he edgeguarded him so much, and it was ridiculous. Amsa also did SD twice in game 4, I think.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing. But yeah, it was convincing. Axe knows that matchup better than anyone, I think.
He did say that he was frustrated that he almost lost at Summit with Pikachu. He's like, man, I should know this matchup. He practices with Vector Man every week.
And with Amsa, dude. He plays with Amsa all the time. I think he knows that matchup amazingly. And also, I think he showed that I didn't know how Pikachu would do going into it.
Yeah.
I didn't pay that much attention to the Summit set. I was working on something else while it was happening.
Pikachu was getting kind of handled, and he played the Falco.
The Falco, yeah.
pretty well.
Yeah, but he showed that Pikachu has some really, really strong options in the matchup.
Yeah.
So when Amsa was at the ledge, Axe was just up smashing willy-nilly.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking good.
Why not?
Because
Yoshi
it breaks super armor, but not only does it make it break super armor, it shoots him up. So I talked about this on commentary. There are certain moves that break super armor, like fairly early, like a Falco Bear or something. Mm-hmm. But after you hit with that, since it's an aerial commonly, you're still rising and the Yoshi falls.
Yep.
And so you knock them out, but it's not actually that. You reset to a disadvantageous situation for them. So
I actually know this because I was getting tips from Peanut Phobia on Friday.
Yeah.
Because I was preparing for Fox Yoshi.
Okay.
And it ended up helping in my team sets against Amsa and X.
You beat them.
Yeah, we lost in winners.
Yeah, and then you got the run back. I commentated.
And we won the run back like pretty handily.
Pretty handily. It was 3-1, right?
Yeah, 3-1.
Yeah, it was really convincing actually.
And like there was one point where I did a falling back air to break Amsa's armor, and I knew that he was gonna drop, so I made sure I fast fell it, and in case he drifted towards the ledge, I F smashed.
Yep.
But he ended up drifting towards Lod, and then he got hit by Lod, and I was like, I'm so big brained right now.
Falling aerial is so amazing against Yoshi. It's so good.
Yeah. What Peanut told me to actually do was falling aerial shine, and I actually killed Peanut with that when we practiced. But it wasn't gonna work in that scenario.
The true woke option is you falling aerial edge cancel to ledge, and then he has to. And then
if you do it a little farther,
if he's like off stage when you do it, and then he has to either drift or air dodge, and you do another back air and you kill him. Oh, it's so good. I've killed Whiskers with that so many times. Yeah. I've also legit, when he was super high, hit him with a back air, read the down B, and wave landed to ledge and down B to his death. That was awesome. The coolest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, shoutouts to Peanut for that knowledge that let me and Lod get to third place in teams.
Yeah.
Again, you told me last week, you're like, man, you guys get third a lot.
No, I said you get fifth a lot, I think. Wasn't that what you've been getting recently? Or is it third?
No,
it is third.
We got third at Pound, and we got third at Flatiron.
Yeah, that's right.
We got third at this.
Yep, third again.
But this was probably the more stacked.
This tournament was pretty stacked in terms of teams, actually.
Yeah.
You guys beat some good people. You beat Lucky Shroomed. And Ryan Ford Trillium, which I actually think is a really strong team. They were the only team in the entire game, or in the entire tournament, to take a game off Mewtwo King Plug.
I heard that, yeah. Well, first of all, I just want to say, me and Lot were seeded 7th at this tournament, and I don't think we should have been seeded 7th.
You should have been 5th.
We should have been 5th at least, yeah. And we were seeded 7th. We were supposed to lose the set to Ryan Ford and Trillium.
You were seeded underneath them? Were they 6th?
They must have been 5th and 6th. It's like somewhere in there.
That's so funny.
And yeah, I think we were tied with like Kage and Legend.
That's really funny.
So yeah, shout outs to whoever seeded this bracket. But yeah, did you see our set with Brian Ford and Trillium?
Nope.
So we went Marth Peach to beat the double spacies, and then it was 1-1, and we took them to FD, and they switched to Fox Sheik. So then I switched to Fox, and then we won that set.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and then we all switched back.
Ryan's Sheik and Trillium's Fox. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Because like we had been having issues with Fox Sheik for a while, so we kind of like have been re-strategizing against it because we lost to HT and Slox at Pound.
Yeah.
And then we nearly lost to IBDW and Vortex at Pound.
Right.
And we made either like a reverse 2-0 or reverse 3-0 or something. And then we beat HT and Slox on the run back against their Fox Sheik like pretty handily. And then we beat this Fox Sheik, and then we beat Lucky and Shroomed in Fox Sheik.
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
So we're feeling pretty good that we like finally were able to overcome a matchup that's been giving us trouble for like almost a year.
Did you play Fox at all in singles?
So I was ready to.
Because your Fox, I ask because your Fox was playing really fucking good in doubles.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I've been practicing a lot of Marth and Fox.
Yeah, and I actually highlighted it as like you gotta watch Rishi's Fox because they are not afraid to use it, but when it's not up to par with his Marth, it can freak. Yeah. I was like, yeah, that's actually can be a weak point for the team.
Yeah. But that doesn't really happen anymore.
No, it looked really good.
I keep my Fox pretty much in shape.
At Genesis, it was one of the things that, like, against Amsa and Sane, that was where I think...
Fox was not looking too strong then. Yeah. And Amsa played better that time than the last time we had played him in teams.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure I was ready this time, and I definitely felt like I was. I would have used Fox had I had a slightly different bracket. I did use Fox in my pools against Pisces. I used Marth and Fox against him because I keep practicing the mid-set switch. I also used Fox on game 3 versus Juggle Guy. I 3-0'd him and I went Fox on the last game. And I used Fox in one game against Heartstrings, and I actually dropped that game. And that was the worst my Fox had played that tournament. I missed my short hops, and in retrospect, that might have been when my controller stopped working. I'll talk about my controllers in a second. Okay.
Your 4 controllers?
Yeah, I actually had 4 controllers with me at this time.
I know, you posted a picture of it on Twitter.
And then, I think that was the last I played Fox in bracket, because then I played Duck in top 24, and I didn't go Fox against SFAT. But I was ready to pull out Fox against, pretty much, some other array of opponents. And if I'd beaten Duck, I would have fought either Ice or Slox. And if I beat them with Marth, I was gonna go Fox on Amsa most likely. I was like preparing a little bit ahead.
That makes sense. Well, I'm glad you're pulling it out. I'm also really glad you switched to Marth against Ice in Swedish because you guys were getting worked.
Yeah, we definitely were. And Ice was the hardest Fox I'd played in teams that day.
He looked amazing.
Yeah,
he was playing really, really good. Swedish was also playing really good, actually.
Yeah, Swedish was playing good.
Swedish played amazing this whole weekend.
Specifically, like, Ice's punish game was so much better than mine in the Ditto.
That's what we were highlighting was that you were getting put in the 1v1 matchup against him a lot because Swedish is really good in teams at keeping...
the other person at bay.
Keeping the other person out. So you were at the edge all the time, and Laud wasn't able to find a way in. And it was... And
I honestly don't usually mind 1v1ing like a Fox that's quote-unquote better than me, because a lot of times, like, the stuff that they're better than me at with Fox doesn't necessarily matter in, like, single scrap scenarios.
Yeah.
Like, I hardly ever feel outclassed by another Fox in teams. But Ice definitely was like, so whatever he was doing, it was better than what I was doing.
Yeah, but the Marth gave you, it was so interesting the way it manifested, because you won a game with Marth, and then they adapted pretty well, but they, your kill power went off the charts when you switched to Marth. You got so many good kills.
I actually rewatched that set, and when we walked away from the set, I was like, man, we just got outplayed. But when I actually watched the set, I just super choked the last game away myself.
Yeah, you did.
I killed myself, and I killed Laud.
And the fact that they happened back to back was equivalent to, like, even though it was 2 stocks, it was equivalent to basically the 3 or 4 stocks that you lost by, because the double teams were executed really well.
And I killed myself at like 20%.
Yep. Yeah, you did throw away that game. Yep.
But that's something I've been working on over time. Is like making sure I can switch between Marth and Fox and stay sharp with them. Like when we played Mochi and Nightmare. Game 1 was Fox Peach versus Marth Fox, and it was like close-ish, and like typically we were pretty comfortable playing Fox Peach against Fox Marth, but I told them that they weren't. I told Laud, I was like, they're not playing like a regular Fox Marth team. Like, I can go Marth in the next game and we'll body them.
Why? How are they playing different?
Nightmare was playing like more in the a lot in the corner, and Mochi was jumping around a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's kind of what was happening, and I was like, why are we bothering fighting Mochi, Fox to Fox on a platform when and Nightmare's just chilling in the corner? If I go Marth, I can nullify this other Marth in the corner, and if Fox jumps around platforms, I can catch him and kill him.
Oh, the guy I lost to got 9th in teams.
Who?
Hippo.
Oh, where did I hear that name?
Probably because I was saying I was going to play him.
Okay.
He's number 1 or 2 in Nova Scotia. I went game 3 like last stock with him.
Gotcha.
But He Marthed me. I knew he had the Marth counter pick. He's a Marth Fox dual main, and I was waiting for him to Marth me. Like, I was ready for it, but I still banned, I think, Yoshi's game 3 because I just didn't want to deal with fighting his Fox on Yoshi's. And they took me to FD, and yeah, it went last stock.
Well, I'm looking at this bracket. Me and Lod versus Rhineford and Trillium went to game 5, and Kage and Legend beat La Luna and G Money in game 3.
Oh, shit.
But then here's the other thing, is that me and Lod played X and Amsa in a best of 3, which was supposed to be a best of 3, and La Luna and G Money played Ice and Swedish, or no, not Ice and Swedish, Lucky and Shroomed in a best of 5.
No, it was best of 3.
This is reported wrong.
Oh, really?
They played a best of 5.
Oh, so they really screwed up.
Yeah, something went wrong somewhere. In any case, I think it'll definitely be interesting to keep an eye on teams, especially static teams. Shoutouts to me and Lod, because like me and Lod are starting to get like a better grasp on what the team's meta looks like.
Yeah,
and that's what's going to push more teams ahead, is just knowing the team's meta.
I also want to see Lucky Shroom to become a static team, because I feel like both of them, we said this on commentary, both of those two have been like wandering good teams players.
Well, doesn't Shroom team with Johnny pretty consistently?
Not anymore, dude.
But they just haven't been at the same tournament.
No. Johnny reportedly thought that he was carrying Dewan.
Really?
So he doesn't want to team with him.
Interesting.
Or something like that. Or he was focusing on singles.
They
I don't
had
know.
some drama.
But
yeah.
I don't think it's actual drama between them. It's just a joke. But like, I do think that team's a little bit more dissolved now.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And had Lucky been teaming with anyone?
No, like Reno and Mango. That was it.
I guess so.
Yeah, I think that was mostly who he was teaming with. But Lucky's always been good at teams. And Dewan is obvious.
Oh, dude, Dewan loves teams.
Dewan's amazing at teams.
Yeah.
I don't know if people know this, but like for the longest time, Alan, who is actually one of the best teams players in the world, I will fight anyone on this, because Alan would get so mad that Dewan was teaming with Johnny, because
They've teamed for a long time.
Dewan and Johnny have literally never outplaced something that. Are you
serious?
Dewan and Alan have gotten 5th at multiple majors.
I do know that. Yeah.
They're amazing at teams.
Yeah.
And so Dewan and Johnny have also gotten 5th. I think multiple majors.
I think Dewan and Alan actually beat me and Lotta Evo 2015.
Oh, when you beat him in singles?
Yeah.
That's funny.
At that tournament 3 years ago. You know who we lost to in winners? It was Armada and Ice.
That's really funny.
Yeah, man, it's so weird to like look back at these tournaments and see what's happening.
DizKid made a list a long time ago about, it was like a year and a half, 2 years ago, about what the actual best teams players are, and he means people who are significantly better than their skill in singles at teams. And a lot of people on his list were like, obviously Android. Flotus, shoutouts to Flotus, my mentor, Peach Main from Georgia, who was here for a little bit. And then DJ and Alan.
I think Milkman deserves to be on that list too.
Really?
Yeah. He just hasn't like gotten the chance to team with a lot of like really good players. He's teamed with Zain here and there.
How do you think Zain is at teams? I've legit never watched one of their sets. But I've heard that he's not that great at teams.
I mean, he's like good at teams, but yeah. He's not good at teams relative to his singles skill.
Yeah.
And Milkman is amazing at teams. Whenever Milkman and I team in friendlies, we're just like, man, we would just like win a tournament if we teamed. If he were to enter more and found like a static teammate who is, comparable to him, I would definitely be on the lookout for them. I think Milkman and Zain, didn't they get 7th or 9th at... I think they got 7th at Big House, actually. I'm pretty sure they did.
That was a weird tournament for teams, I feel like.
Yeah, it was.
It was like not as stacked as you would expect it to be. Yeah, they got 9th.
Yeah, they got 9th.
No, 7th. That's 7th.
7th.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They beat someone. Yeah. I'm remembering. They beat someone pretty good, right? They beat...
Okay, let's see. Well, they lost her.
They beat Westballs and Cyrox, Amsa and Prof, and Reno and Allen.
Reno also is pretty good in
Reno's
teams.
very good at teams.
Yeah, that's a good run.
G also really good at teams.
Yeah. Though, G and La Luna have not been doing super, super well relative to how I would expect them to do. I think they have. I think they also have trouble picking like what team they want to go.
I think G's really good at teams, but it's like G's not quite on the caliber of any player we've mentioned.
He's also better at teaming with Fox. Falco Marth is kind of an awkward team.
It's a horrible team, dude. I hate that team. I think Falco's amazing in teams, and I hate Falco Marth.
Yeah, same. Falco Fox is sick, though.
Falco Fox is amazing.
Falco
Chic and Falco Falcon. Falco Falcon is so sick, dude. I love that team. I love that team.
I don't believe in Falco Falcon.
No?
The bird team, no. I have to see it.
Oh, it's so good.
All right. I think
we should probably take a break.
Yeah, we'll take a break and then actually talk
we
about... We
spent so long talking about Smash 4, dude.
Yeah, we're talking... I'm in such a weird state of mind after the past couple of days. I slept so much yesterday. It was so great.
Yeah, so did I.
But the night before, that morning, yesterday was the most Monday I'd ever had. I missed my flight. That sucked.
So did Marco.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, that probably should explain a lot about where I am right now. We'll be back.
Luckily, we just have more Gommel stuff to talk about,
yeah.
So stay tuned for that. Hey guys, welcome to our shout-out corner for the week. This week, we're going to be shouting out a tournament, actually. Omega 2 in Long Island, June 16th to 17th.
Yeah, it's going to be the first big tri-state tournament in a while. I guess the last one was the weekend of, Gemini?
Yeah?
Which was actually the same venue. So it was my first time going to that venue on Long Island. And I have to say, it's a sick venue. It's huge. They have a bunch of setups. There's a separate, there's an actual separate room for commentary.
That's fucking
which
sick.
Is awesome.
That's really
especially
cool.
for a local venue. And they learned a lot about scheduling these big events at that last one. So this one, they're really going to hit it home. It's a 2-day event. We have pretty much all the top players in Tri-State coming, and there may or may not be a couple special guests from MDVA.
Yeah, so this is really what we want you guys to support, because if you can't fly out to Long Island, understandable, but you can give other people a chance to fly out to Long Island.
Yeah. Because
there are compendium goals for Triff and Cyrox.
Yeah.
And maybe, too, actually, who would love to come home and see all of us.
Yeah.
And it also might have a 24-hour venue, which would be amazing.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
So, definitely consider supporting. You can check out their compendium on smash.gg. Just look up Omega 2 with 2 I's with Roman numerals out here. And yeah, you guys want to see Cyrox and Triff compete, right?
Yeah, we know you do.
All right. Thanks, guys.
What's up, guys? We're back. Part 2 of talking about Get On My Level 2018.
That's right.
Yeah, and we only just started talking about it, so we still have a lot of bracket. We have pretty much all of singles bracket to talk about.
We've just been meandering through random topics.
I love that, dude.
Are tangentially related to what actually happened at Gommel.
I love that. I think enough of our audience are nerds that they watched Gommel and have opinions already.
Yeah.
But they don't know how we feel about the body odor promoted by EVO 2015's Crowded Space.
Yeah.
And that's what they need to know about, is how we feel about those things.
Exactly.
And about Yoshi. So.
And about vanilla. I feel like I've already been extra snarky today, just given my state of mind. And I'm just going to sink into it. I'm going to lean into my snarkiness.
Go for it.
Just about how much I hate vanilla. Vanilla sucks. That's the first note I have written down here on our list of topics.
Yeah, I think actually it permeated through, because literally all of our notes are in the form of sucks. Even the ones that are about people not sucking are in that form. So
yeah, so the first bullet point says vanilla sucks. Here's the thing, guys. If you follow me on Twitter, which you probably do if you're listening to the podcast, that I'm a strong proponent.
I hope some of you don't. I actually really hope we have people who don't follow us on Twitter.
Follow me on Twitter at SmashGod with a 0.
Analog.
You know that I'm a big proponent of UCF because it's the best version of Melee. It fixes the silly disparities in our controllers where there's polling issues and we sometimes can't dash back when we want to. Shield drops, I actually don't care about fixing those as much because it's a pretty easy fix with a shield drop modification with a notch. But you literally can't fix dash back on a regular controller.
I actually care way more about the shield drop modification than most people do, and it's for a very specific reason, which is that Smash 5 is coming out soon. And if you guys looked at the numbers for Melee when Smash 4 came out, it's hard to completely judge because Melee was going through a boom anyways. But Smash 4 played a big part in Melee's numbers growing, I think.
That's a good point.
I think Smash 5 will play a big part in Melee's numbers growing.
And you see that the shield drop fix as a barrier to access being taken out.
I think people should be able to buy controllers and play with that technique enabled, quote unquote, out of the box.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have talked about the accessibility argument as if it's a hypothetical and not a real world thing.
But it's about to be a real world thing.
Don't agree with that whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, so one, Smash 5 coming out could cause a boost in Melee attendance. Two, the documentary, part 2.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Which theoretically would come out this year. He said something like that, right?
Yep.
This year?
Yeah,
I mean, he said that before, but like, I believe him that
I think it will.
Within the next year, we'll
I was
probably
talking
get
to him a bit about it. Yeah.
I think the things we've been waiting for are on the horizon now. I haven't believed for a long time, but I think they're on the horizon now.
Yeah.
But
vanilla does suck.
Vanilla sucks. So, I'm a proponent of UCF, and I just want to say, my controllers are probably better than yours if you're listening.
I can verify that.
When I'm playing on
my
vanilla,
controller is from the controller I use is a reject Rishi controller, and it's still like the second best controller I've ever had.
So a few months ago, I got invited to the Twitch Bash Holiday Invitational, and I heard that they were going to be using vanilla. So since that tournament, when I discovered one of my controllers has near perfect dashback, I started learning how to execute my dashes in a different way using pre-accelerated thumb inputs. And now that's how I play the game all the time. Which means when I'm playing on a dashback controller, I virtually don't notice the difference between vanilla and UCF.
I can verify this, by the way, too, in case you think Rishi's full of bullshit. Because last week when I was here, he booted up Uncle Punch's... it was actually while we had technical difficulties and we're playing friendlies while we were waiting for my camera to charge. We played a few friendlies, and we played with Uncle Punch mod at first, and Rishi brought out that controller and did a bunch of dashbacks, and I think out of like 35, it missed one.
Yeah, one.
Yeah.
So I virtually don't notice the difference. There are assorted other issues that make UCF... It makes my life easier. It means I don't have to spend as much money maintaining my controllers that have good dashback. Also, like... There's some extraneous stuff that I've been working on with my controllers, but that doesn't have anything to do with the fact that, like, for all intents and purposes, like, it feels almost the same for me. So, despite that, I think UCF is better, because even though I have access to a controller, and some other top players will have access to controllers that have good dashback, it's not guaranteed to last forever.
Yeah.
And not only that, but... having a controller with good dashback generally correlates with having poor pivots.
Yep.
And there's been a lot of argument in response to a tweet that I made. If you're listening to this, I made it on, I guess, Tuesday.
I'm gonna get this
or yesterday.
I'm gonna get this out.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
Early in the week of the release of this podcast, I made a tweet about, Marth chain grabs and dashbacks and pivots. And there's a lot of like nerdy talk about why it doesn't actually matter. But let me just tell you that, like,
comfortability.
I don't even know how to approach this.
Comfortability matters, I think, is the root of it.
Comfort and lenience.
Comfort and lenience, but like just being able to do the thing that you like to do, or like the way you like to execute things,
and not having to learn a different frame perfect or near frame perfect muscle memory depending on the controller that you're using.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that that's an argument against UCF blows my mind. That people want to, advocate. Like, I'm all for learning as much as you can. And I definitely did learn a few things reading the responses to my tweets. But wouldn't you guys just rather be able to have a controller that works properly? Like the fact that you need a good dashback controller on vanilla Melee, which then might cause you to lose access to another, another tool in game, is just kind of absurd. And any dashback controller that does have good empty pivots, those are even less likely to last than your dashback itself. It's really rare to have that happen.
Yep.
So I don't know. That's really annoying. And there are a lot of people who are arguing that it doesn't make as big of a difference, but like, I don't know. I've played on some controllers that you literally can't empty pivot on, and
I have a really hard doing it on the controller you gave to me.
Yeah, it probably has good dashback.
It has great dashback, but I have a really hard time empty pivoting.
Yeah, Milkman actually messaged me in response to one of my tweets earlier today because I used his old controller as reference. He doesn't use it anymore because he's playing on UCF, and he doesn't need a dashback controller. But neither me nor Zain could land a single pivot on that controller.
I literally, I can't play my Marth in friendlies anymore
because you can't pivot.
I actually have to get my other controller out if I want to play Marth, because my Marth exists solely to pivot. That's the only reason I play it, because I get so tired of the only useful things Falco has for pivots. Rishi talked about this, but it is still like Falco is one of the top tiers with the least useful pivots, I think, just comparatively. So you can do pivot aerials and like pivot up smash.
That's basically it,
and that's it. But so I love pivoting so much because I'm good at it in general that that's all I do with my Marth and my Fox. Yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunate that that's where we're at.
Yep.
And like I've actually spent a large chunk of money in the past few weeks on controllers for Gommel.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's rough. And like I got a controller after Teams from Typo that had the mods so I was using a different controller with good dashback that didn't have all the mods I usually use on a regular controller. And he gave me one that did have good dashback, that did have all the mods that I usually like. And I don't usually use a controller the same day of a tournament I get it.
Yeah.
But I liked it initially. So I was using it for the rest of the tournament. I used it for all of singles on Saturday.
And then it broke.
And then the next morning, I was testing it out again, and maybe 40% of my tap jump short hops were full hops, which is a pretty big issue.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that can cause that issue.
One of them is actually POD.
Vertical POD
that makes dashback good on certain controllers.
Is having that potentiometer defect horizontally is good dashback. You can get it vertically, which can mess up the polling of your tap jumps. And I use tap jump for everything, so it's a issue that specifically pertains to the way I play.
Yeah.
So you can develop vertical POD. It can be your springs could be loose. The stick in general can be loose. It can have to do with snapback. So I don't know. There's a lot of things that can cause it.
That's what the controller you gave me has, probably, because the controller that Rishi gave me.
That's why I gave it to you.
Yeah, the reason that Rishi gave it to me is because it can't tap jump properly. It gets it like 0% of the time. Actually, it's really bad at it, and it's not a problem for me because the only time I tap jump is for Fox double lasers, and even that's only something I started doing a few months ago.
Yeah,
and Fox is a secondary, so whatever.
Yeah.
Or for like Shine Turnaround Bear or something, in which case the vertical POD is actually better.
Right.
Because it will make my input go to the extreme. It doesn't really matter.
But I use it for like everything.
Yeah.
Right. And I have the controller sitting over there. What I'm probably going to try is actually detaching the vertical potentiometer to completely remove vertical POD. But the problem is that even opening a controller that has good dashback
can change it.
Can risk losing dashback. In fact, I talked to Kadano about this. I consult him on pretty much everything I do with a controller.
Yeah.
He says that opening a controller with good dashback has a 50% chance of losing dashback. How idiotic is that? Just opening the controller has a 50% risk of losing the reason that you paid all this money for the controller in the first place. Yeah. So my best vanilla controller, I haven't let any controller modders touch.
That doesn't make any sense. I want to know why that's true from Cardano.
That's how it is. Just like
that makes literally zero sense.
But like, I mean, I told you when I was calibrating the controller I gave you how how like the degrees to which I turned the screw that ties in the screw box could actually change the calibration of the notches.
I did that actually too, where I sometimes play with my backup controller from before you gave me that controller because it's just different and sometimes it's more fun to play with. Yeah. And then recently it was feeling really shitty and I tightened the screws a little bit and I was like, oh, yeah, I fixed it.
But you can spend a lot of money on a modded controller and
then lose what you're paid for.
Exactly. Yep. But if you have UCF, it virtually doesn't matter what controller you use unless you have very specific controller modification requirements, like if you want to use a hybrid gate or if you want to remove the springs on your trigger. But those things are all like pretty accessible if you can pay for the hybrid gate from someone.
It would actually matter more if you had a good empty pivoting controller. Would be like one of the main things that would start to matter. So what you can do, and Hax has talked about this too, if we have consistent dashback fixes through UCF or some sort of hardware solution, you can actually just detach the potentiometers on your control stick box, and then you'll never,
which is really easy to do, and you'll never develop good dashback, which you don't need if your controller functions properly using UCF. So if you just force your controller to never develop that defect, it will always have good pivots. I think you also need a snapback capacitor, which is pretty standard right now from any controller modder. Yeah. Like they literally just have to solder it on and it'll cost you like $5 or $10. And you can manually detach the potentiometer yourself, and there's videos on how to do that. And it's really easy if you can open your controller.
I still need someone to redo the notch on that controller.
Yeah.
That notch is bugging me, man.
But yeah, like, there's all these reasons that it just makes sense to have UCF, and at this point the vast majority of the community is for it. And there's been this big meme going around right now.
UCF causes phantoms.
UCF causes phantoms. Did you watch this tournament this past weekend?
Oh my god, dude, there were so many phantoms, as many as there have been at like any tournament that was played with UCF,
which just
UCF.
Blatantly confirms that it's confirmation bias. We're all looking for phantoms.
Well, also aside from that, I think I mentioned this before, but Jackzilla has compiled
statistically.
He has a team that compiles stats of when there's phantoms and when there aren't.
Yeah,
and also a bunch of other stuff. And my favorite part of it is it lists which commentators it is too.
No
for
way.
Each match. Yeah, so you can really say if it was confirmation bias.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's actually, I think now she's finding stuff where it's like there are less phantoms on UCF, which isn't true. It's same.
Not true. It's the same.
Just random data. So, yeah.
I mean, there's no evidence that UCF causes phantoms. I was playing with Moon over the weekend, and I was like, "Have you seen how many phantoms there are?" He's like, "Yeah, I can't say anything."
I had a maybe genius realization on commentary. I think one of the moves you see phantom a lot. I got so many phantom shines this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
People have only started implementing SDI really, really consistently against Fox and Falco shine after drill or down air in the past 2 years. I think very frequently. So before, you would always see someone get hit by the shine because unless it was horribly misspaced, the shine's going to hit.
Yeah.
But now that people are SDIing it consistently in the past 3 years or something, that has
increased the
source
chance
of a very, very common interaction that before was never causing phantoms, and now will probably cause them frequently.
Dude, I completely buy that the meta's advancement contributes to a small increase.
I think actually Jack has also found that that's false, but
really,
yeah, because he's looking at sets from a really long time ago too.
Okay,
so
I see.
I don't know about that though.
Regardless, we saw a crap load of phantoms this weekend. Game 5, Slox versus Lod.
Oh my god!
That was actually one of the most crucial phantoms that I saw the whole tournament. I also think that phantom could have drastically changed the results of the tournament, and I want to talk about why real quick.
Well, for those of you who didn't see the phantom, first of all, it was literally last stock.
It was first stock.
Oh, sorry, that's right. It was first stock, but Lod went out to edgeguard Slox with a fair.
On FD in Peach versus Fox. And let me say, Fox is not bad against Peach on FD. It's not like a true counterpick.
Yeah.
Because Fox's neutral on FD is actually really difficult for Peach to deal with.
Better than on any other stage, I think. Yeah,
you can definitely make that argument. And Lod is about to take the lead. He loses the lead because he misses the up B. He phantoms the up B with a forward air, which would 100% have killed there.
Yeah.
And
sorry.
Good. Shout outs to people who told us to not tap the
I have
table.
such nervous hands, you guys. I'm so sorry.
I had to stop myself from fidgeting with the mic. But yeah, so he loses that stock and then basically eats so much percent in lasers and loses the game and loses the set to Slox.
And gets knocked out of the tournament.
And I don't want to discount Slox because last time Slox and Lod played, it was also last stock and basically last hit, and Slox like SD'd. So he totally has the skill to beat Lod, right? But in this particular case, it definitely swung game 5 and Slox ended up beating him. Next match, Lod would have played Ice, which is a very winnable matchup for Lod.
Yep.
The next match, Lod would have played Duck, and Lod historically is pretty strong against Samus. He's lost the last couple times he's played Samus, but he significantly has changed his game plan.
Then he would have played
His next match would have been Amsa, and Peach is not one of Amsa's stronger matchups.
It's his worst match. Aside from Falcon, which he's gotten a little bit better at, it's easily his worst matchup.
And Lod has recently picked up Yoshi himself and has been studying Yoshi.
Yeah.
So he could...
Conceivably.
Amsa's favored, obviously.
Still,
I think Amsa's definitely favored versus Lod. But he could have beaten Amsa. Like, Lod is one of the picks to upset Amsa of anyone else.
Who would you take?
The next matches would have been Lod versus Swedish.
Uh-huh.
And last time they played, it was game 5.
I would take Swedish for that match.
For Lod? So...
I think Swedish played so good this tournament.
It would have depended on how Lod's playing, but if you ask me on any given day, my money's on Lod.
Yeah, I know. I would agree on any given day.
But you're saying Swedish was playing well enough at that point.
Yeah, I actually didn't see his set versus Crush, but...
Regardless, at this point, that's a pretty significant alteration in how the results played out.
Yeah, and then it would be Lod M2K, which would probably go to M2K, but yeah. No, that would be pretty huge.
But
so
that's all off one Phantom.
Yeah.
Praise Vanilla, guys. # praise Vanilla. Get it trending. I tweeted a lot of praise Vanilla this weekend.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was my little rant on.
But speaking about MDVA players, Zain. You have Zain sucks.
Yeah, I wrote Zain sucks
because Zain lost to Hybrid.
Yeah. I'd literally never heard of Hybrid. People kept telling me
you don't know about Hybrid?
Never heard of
him. Oh, you scrub.
People kept telling me about him over the weekend. They're like, oh, he's like old school Marth player in NorCal. He dashes back a lot, whatever. Cool. Good job, Hybrid. You beat Zain. Zain was really salty. This weekend was the most emotional I've seen Zain pretty much ever. I think he definitely let the pressure of being in the top echelon kind of get to him a bit. And he did mention to me that like when he's in game 5 last hit versus a top player, he feels no pressure. But he's now at a point where when he's in that clutch scenario against someone who could upset him, he feels pressure to not get upset.
The biggest pop-off I've ever seen Zain have was when he beat Shroomed.
Same, yeah.
Which I commentated. Oh my god, you guys, that set has the most spaghetti set to it. And
I was just going to say, I am so sick of watching bad Marth Sheik sets.
Oh, I mean, my God.
It was a hype set.
Most of the set was okay.
Yeah.
It was honestly not that bad. It actually had some good adaptations on both sides.
Yeah.
Because I think Zane's gotten away recently a lot with punishes that don't work on Sheik.
Yeah.
He gets up throw, up tilt at 0 like
That
90% of the time. Work. That does not work. And it really doesn't work on Dewan. He jumped out of it every time, and that's why he won the first game. And
Dewan edgeguarded Zain.
Yes, he did.
He reminded the general viewership that the Sammy stall destroys Marth.
Yeah.
Even though he actually did mess it up a couple times.
He messed up a good amount of times. He also hit some important needles, though, which is something else we highlighted.
Also, I want to say that I was warming Dewan up for this set, and it was one of the most fun sessions I had all weekend. I love playing Dewan.
This set is also proof. Everyone's known this for so long, but it's like proof of it. Dewan has the best survival DI of like he is up there sick. With any. Oh my god, the amount of times when he just got tipper F smashed at like 120 and would live and get back, and like 3 times in a row, same rinse and repeat, slowly getting back.
Yeah,
and then he would live. Oh my god.
Yeah, shout outs to Dewan. Super fun to play and hang out with.
Yeah. He was so sad after he lost.
Yeah.
He was smiling, of course. Cause
obviously is the one.
But if you guys didn't see that, the way that set ended was so sad. And honestly, if Dewan recovered as Zelda, Zain up smashed in place.
He's like, I just didn't want to be Zelda. I
and
just
then
wanted to play as
Dewan
Sheik.
rolled back and turned back into Sheik on stage.
In front of Zane's face.
And then Zain didn't even walk up and F smash him. He walked up and fared. Yeah. And because Dewan DI'd it, he got Ken comboed for it.
And he missed a dashback or something.
So dumb. Yeah. It was really fucking dumb. If Dewan stayed Zelda, he
could have won. Yeah.
Oh, dude, because that situation is actually amazing for Zelda.
It's actually like probably favored for Zelda.
Yeah, dude, especially on Dreamland.
Especially when you consider like how high pressure it is, because literally a stray hit kills Marth like 40% earlier than where he was.
And it also, Marth has a shield that's prone to getting poked at that exact height.
Yep.
Marth is going to want to jump at you to hit you.
Yep.
And if Marth hits, the most beneficial situation for Zelda is when someone hits her shield and then she gets to jump out, and that's gonna happen. You can make Marth do that so much in that situation.
Even if she blocks an F smash that's too far to forward air or back air, she can wave dash out and get a grab, and back throw kills.
Can she?
Yeah,
she can punish with wave dash out grab.
She can't punish tipper. But if she's like just too far to forward air,
she can wave
she
dash
can
out
she
grab.
can get a grab.
Because Zelda's grab, if you don't know, is the only non-tether grab that is something other than hit on frame 7 and 8.
Her grab's weird.
It's just bad.
She's the only grab where you don't want to ever JC grab, because dash grab always goes farther and it's the same number of frames.
Yeah, because it's on I don't know what frame it is.
Yeah, it's something
10 or 12.
But yeah, I mean, Dewan just afterward, he was like, I just wanted to play as Sheik. I wasn't thinking. So he just switched.
Sad. It was so sad. I really wanted Dewan to make a run too. It's been a long time since we saw a good Dewan run.
He when I was warming him up, he was like, man, like you guys make the Marth Sheik matchup feel so hard. Like everyone's getting so good now. I've been coasting on my skill for all these years. Like I need to actually practice. And so maybe we'll see, a Dewan start to practice pretty soon. But in any case, this was the second of a large number of big wins that Zain got. He made it into top 24 after his loss pretty easily, I guess.
Yep. He beat Tranimal. Shoutouts to Vino.
Tranimal and Crunch
had a really close set with Tranimal.
But then he 3-0'd None.
Yeah, in brutal fashion. Oh my god, it was, and we were highlighting this before when I was on commentary. We were highlighting this as potential upset territory. And well, while our stats on Zain's bad against Marth may have been somewhat flawed, because Tafostat's character matchup thing is not that good, whatever. I still maintain that is solidly one of his worst matchups.
Marth?
I think. Yeah. It's fine to say it's a
relative
bad matchup
to his other good matchups.
And I'm sorry I forgot that he beat La Luna last weekend. I didn't really watch Pound Underground that much, but guys, come on. He's still not good against Marth. You can say that. He's really not good against Falcon. The only set against a Falcon he has in the past year is on Smuckers at the Gang.
Where he beat Smuckers in winners, but it was so fraudulent.
It was so fraudulent.
Because Smuckers just handed him the set. Yeah. Smuckers was like, this is mine to win 3-1, but you know what? You can take the next two games.
Then Alex came back and
6-0'd him.
And like a disgusting 6-0. It ended with a scar jump up air knee.
A lot of those.
Yeah.
If you're a Zain fan, stay away from those sets.
If you're a Smuckers fan, that is the best he's played.
If you're not a Smuckers fan, watch those sets.
Yeah, and then
you will be a Smuckers fan.
He's really fucking bad against Falcon in recent history. But he destroyed None.
He did destroy None. I want to take partial credit for my godlike coaching. I gave Zain.
What did you tell him to do? You said throw him off the stage?
I gave him some good tips in neutral. So
you said never leave the corner?
What I said basically boiled down to this. Okay, let me say what I told him. I didn't tell him to not leave the corner. I told him that it's really free for Marth to beat Falcon if you just know what direction he's going to approach you from.
That means never leave the corner.
Because, so that's
if you're in the corner, there's only one place they can approach you
basically,
from.
my point was, against None specifically, one of Nun's strengths is changing up the attacks that he uses.
Yes, actually.
And my point was basically that if you know what direction he's coming from, it literally does not matter what attack he uses.
Yeah, that's a
if
good
he
point.
jumps at you, and we messed around with what I played with my Falcon. He kept trying to jab my approaches, and I'd punish him on hit. Yeah. So I told him to use side B and up tilt instead. They work way better. And then he just bodied him.
Honestly, dude, I didn't say this on commentary because it felt like too big of a stretch. But do you know what set this reminded me of?
What?
Reminded me of Zain versus M2K, but with Zain as like the M2K in this situation.
Yeah.
Because so many of the setups were almost exactly the setups that M2K used to kill him. Mm-hmm. Where he threw none off stage and then you like wave dash off up B and it would just hit none and none would die.
You just died, didn't tech it or anything.
Well, it wasn't techable a lot of the time because it was like the weak hit and it just like took none's jump.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But yeah, it was the edgeguard game. Zain only got one combo the entire time, and I didn't realize this until I was rewatching the set, but it was almost the sickest combo because he almost ended it with a pivot F smash on the tip platform, but he missed it, and then he just ran off and fared none, and he died anyways. Yeah. But he only got one combo, and a lot of it was just none couldn't figure out a way to get big openings either, and at the edge, Zain was so much better.
So then he beat Dewan, and then he beat Mochi. I want to do like a 30-second aside on Mochi.
You only want to do 30 seconds? Yeah. I think there's a lot to talk about because we don't agree on this.
Yeah, we don't agree. Okay, so I think that Mochi's run. First of all, I was impressed by his gameplay from what I watched. I think he's good.
Okay, so I don't know if we actually disagree on this.
Right. So I was impressed with how he played, especially in the Marth matchup. It seems like for his level, for his perceived level on most people's, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Most people expect Foxes to kind of get bodied, but Mochi did take one game from King and one game from Zain.
And very, very easily could have gone to Game 5 with both of them. Sort of threw away his Game 5 chance against M2K, honestly. And then also against Zain, not as much threw it away. Yeah. He just got grabbed, but,
I didn't actually see his set where he beat Ice. If you missed it, Mochi did 3-1 Ice.
Oh, he destroyed him, dude.
But from what I heard, this Lod told me that it looks like Mochi is just really amazing at the Fox Ditto.
Yes, that is true. So his set against Georges, actually, who, shout out to Georges because the top post on our Smash Bros right now is from the set of Mochi versus Georges, and I had no idea who Georges was. He's apparently a Fox player from Quebec, I think. And he commented on this Giphy cat of him on Reddit right now that is just him getting fucking destroyed by Mochi.
I was watching that today.
He just commented and was like, yeah, Mochi is so good. I felt so flustered and didn't know what to do. Mochi has clearly grinded out his punishes on Fox
definitely looks like it.
a million times, and he had combos I dream about as Falco in that set. The one that is on Giphy Cat right now, on Reddit right now, he does reverse falling fair to dash attack to up tilt to up air. And that doesn't even show the way he closed out that game, which was a JV 4-stock and could have just been a 4-stock if Mochi didn't just kill himself because he didn't care. He did reverse fair to Swanton Bomb. And it killed on Dreamland. That's and awesome. Then Mochi just didn't bother recovering. Yeah. It was so cool.
I was on the phone earlier and I happened to open that clip. So I was just like mindlessly watching it for like 5 straight minutes as I was on the phone.
It's so
I have that combo memerized now for some reason.
Yeah, Georges also like laughed while it happened. Georges also looks a lot like Typo. If you guys go watch that clip, it's really funny. Yeah, but I commentated that and I popped off when that happened.
So after I remember after Zain beat Dewan, I don't remember who I was talking to, but I was like, this is Zane's dream bracket because he gets Mochi into SFAT to get top 5.
I know, dude.
So after beating Mochi, he 3-1s SFAT handily again.
Okay, but wait, you said before we started talking that you don't think this changes anything Mochi. You don't think this bracket changes anything?
I mean, not that much. Like we've seen countless times where one player makes an upset, such as Mochi versus Ice, and then nothing really happens.
But the reason I know that for ranking it will change stuff because beating Ice is a huge win.
Yeah.
But I know that for ranking, game wins don't change anything. But I think it does change something because it's the first time a lot of us have seen him perform against players of this caliber.
And he played
Zane and
confidently,
M2K, and he played like he did better than a lot of players way above his perceived level would do.
Yeah.
So I think it does change something in that, like, previously if Mochi were to go up against, I don't know, what mid-level, there's like no top 50-ish level Marth. I don't know. Like if Mochi were to go up
through Stango?
Yeah, if Mochi were to go up against Stango, I would maybe think...
say it might be a toss-up?
Yeah, it might be a toss-up. I still would, because I also think Stango's amazing and is going to do really well.
Yeah.
But I think, like, if Mochi were to go up against a top 50-ish level player before this tournament, I'd be like, yeah, Mochi's really good, and he beat Shoutout, and he's, like, obviously really good. And now if he were to go up against a top 50 level player, I'd probably go, like, yeah, I think Mochi might win this.
I could see it. I'm like a little bit more confident on Stango, just maybe because I'm
more confident on Stango too.
I've watched him more.
No, I'm more confident on Stango too. That's why I still don't really think that if you gave me that matchup.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so I'll say I am definitely looking forward to seeing more of what he does.
I agree.
Because I'm not discounting his potential at all. I think he totally like showed that he has skill and the ability to perform on stage against top players, which in itself is
his confidence,
an extremely valuable skill.
Honestly, the way he was playing against M2K and Zain.
Oh yeah.
He was not playing scared at all.
And this is one of the biggest things I tell people in terms of advice is like when you're trying to do better in Melee, there's one like you have a set of skills in Melee, but the ability to compete is its own skill set.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like you have to train yourself to prepare for tournaments, to maintain your composure in bracket. There's countless skills. And I mean, Mochi did a good job of demonstrating his ability to compete under the pressure of being on stage, even though this was his home field advantage, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, he did it against Chu at Genesis.
You know what he was on stage. He was deathly sick too. Mochi was like dead.
And he was on stage. Yeah. So, I mean...
You know what I just realized? Was he on stage for that match?
It was the side stream, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it was like its own mini stage.
Yeah. You know what I just realized? When you were talking about ability to compete, something I feel like we've touched on a lot recently is how Crunch is actually like a really, really good player, but is just hampered by nerves.
Yeah.
And Crunch actually had... If you look at the bracket, Mahi is actually
Mahi is Crunch.
Because Mahi couldn't make it. And so Crunch had such a sad story because since Zain got upset so early, Crunch beat Kage.
First, which is great.
And then he lost to Plup and Zain for 33rd, I think. Or for 25th or something. Which is so sad.
Quick shout-outs to Kage for beating... Coastward, Ginger, and then Hybrid to get into top 24.
I mean, Ginger's a really good win, dude.
Ginger. No, I wasn't saying that as like a bad bracket. Ginger's an amazing win, especially for a Ganon player.
I don't know why we're shouting out beating Coastward.
I was just
good.
I wasn't gonna say it until I looked at it, and then in my head I was like, "Oh, Ganon Ditto." Like he plays Ganon, right?
Yeah.
So I just pictured the Ganon Ditto in my head, and that's why
I'm pretty sure I've seen like videos of those two playing before, and Coastward like makes fun of how much he gets destroyed by Kage.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I can't believe he beat Ginger. I mean, I saw some like salty-ish tweets from Ginger afterward talking about how he didn't play with confidence.
Dude, the saddest
but
thing
regardless,
too,
it's like Falco Ganon.
Dude, the saddest thing too is that Ginger's match he played to make it out of pools was against the guy who he drove to the tournament with.
Oh, no, that sucks.
Who is a Ganon main.
Oh,
He
no
didn't
way.
play Ganon in that match. Because I was talking to him, and that guy, his name's Sawyer, I think, plays Ganon except for like 5 matchups he thinks are undoable as Ganon, including Falco. So I think it was a Falco Ditto. But regardless, like I do think Ginger has had Ganon practice. Yeah, obviously.
That must have been an awkward ride home.
Nah, I think it was fine.
I'm just picturing them sitting in silence for an hour, and then Ginger says, "You should have gone Ganon again."
Oh God.
Anyways,
yeah.
Oh, Zain took a game from X in Marth Pikachu. Me and Moon were actually standing like right up against the stage, saying like, "That was good. That was bad. That sucks."
Edwin Budding, aka Big Noak, Anok Palakirthi, had a really funny take on this, which was It was really, really funny seeing Zain get visibly frustrated by losing to someone dashing back and grabbing and winning.
That's so funny.
Like, just running away. And Zain was getting visibly upset by losing to Axe, so that was really good.
We had some good Marth powwows this weekend between me, Zain, and Moon. Shoutouts to Kevin. He wasn't there, unfortunately, but... so Zain and Moon are both Marth purists. They believe Marth can do every matchup. And, more power to them. I'm not saying I don't believe that, but I have other strengths in my Fox that I can implement.
Would you go Fox against Axe?
I would consider using both, and I would have my Marth as my primary.
And then Fox for Yoshi.
For Yoshi, I would rather go Fox.
I agree.
So
I think Marth beats Yoshi still. We've talked about this when we had Zain on, but Fox destroys Yoshi.
So me, Moon, and Zain were talking before Moon played Amsa, and I was like, I have all these notes against Yoshi, but they're all from Fox's perspective. And Moon's like, I'm not about the Fox guy. I'm all about the Marth guy. Like, I want to do all the matchups with Marth. So we theorycraft for a bit. We talk about what he can do. Zain has some ideas because Zain, talks big about Marth Yoshi, and he's like, I beat Amsa in some friendlies at Summit. And then Moon plays Amsa. Did you see it?
Oh, I saw game 1. Because it was happening on a stream. I was commentating, but it was happening on the other stream while I was commentating. He got 4-stocked.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but he got destroyed.
Yeah.
He got 4-stocked, and in a different game, his shield got broken.
Yeah, and then Amsa taunted, right?
He taunted. Yeah. He said he taunted because he remembered Armada had done that. With the turnip thing.
Oh,
so then he taunted and he threw an egg and hit out of it. It was so funny. He tried to replicate the Armada thing.
That's so cool.
Basically,
did he kill Moon off that or
no, he didn't. He was at low percent. Basically, he styled on Moon.
That's so funny.
So that was one of our Marth powwows. Another one was talking to Zain about Pikachu Marth, and we couldn't agree on the timing for how to edgeguard Pikachu, because Zain knows this. He knows he has to teeter. I'm pretty confident in the advice I gave because I've used it and I got it from Anther, which is that when Pikachu's falling and he freezes, that's when you swing. So when he freezes before the up B, so he pauses midair and then goes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's when you have to swing.
Have you gone back and watched that set from PP versus Axe at Summit?
No.
Oh, that's how you. That's the guide on how to edgeguard Pikachu with Marth from the first Summit, where PP played Axe. I don't know if it was in a challenge match or something. I think it was Summit 1. Dude,
I think it was a challenge match.
PP edgeguards him so much.
All right, I want to talk about PP in a second, but last thing I'll say about this, I regret that I forgot one important thing to tell Zain before he played Axe, which was if he gets forward thrown or back thrown at the ledge to DI out. And he DI'd in and died for it 3 times because Pikachu gets a free down air. So that sucked. But in any case...
And then we saw M2K's buff.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about the rest of... I stopped watching after that. I was playing friendlies in the VIP room.
I was in Toronto, and I was at this super loud Japanese izakaya place, which was such a good decision.
Yeah.
And I saw M2K go puff, and I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Because it was a sub goal, too, so I should have seen it coming, but...
Shoutouts to the VIP room. They had massage tables back there. It was catered.
That was the one benefit of it being non-UCF, is that the VIP room was Yoshi's story themed, and
that was so cool. I loved the design
because they were able to do it. I'm sure they would have been able to do it even if they didn't have.
So speaking of PP, I just want to. You said you hadn't seen this.
No, I haven't. I've watched a bunch of the other. So PP was on a Cheese 05 and Simply's podcast yesterday, which they're two Mario 64 speedrunners. Cheese is the best in the world right now.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he's actually so fucking good. So I watched a bunch of the clips that were on Reddit, but I didn't see this one. Okay, so play that.
Yeah, so there's no context to the title or anything, so we're just gonna listen to it. All right, we'll make sure that the mic picks it up.
At the Invitational and everyone else that's going, I presume there are other people going. It's hard to remember.
Smash 5.
But I hope it's a good Invitational. I hope someone calls out Reggie again for the fun of it. And we use that as memes for the next 5 years until the next one comes out. But yeah, no, it's... I don't care.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
I can't help it. I can't help it. I have to say it. It's not Melee.
For the short time that I did play Melee.
It's not Melee.
Yeah, I mean, we both talked about being excited for Smash 5, and I genuinely am, and I am going to use Waluigi.
I just thought that was so...
play with my girlfriend, but yeah, that's...
I just thought that was so funny, because, they're asking about the Invitational, he's trying to give, a PC answer, and he can't even make it all the way through the answer. Let's go, PP. PP was so snarky on this podcast.
I heard.
I loved it. And he even mentioned, he's like, I'm feeling better and I'm more like an actual person now than I have been.
And you think that's why he's more snarky?
Yeah, I totally think that's why.
He's, some friends and I were talking the other day about what PP would be like if he were bad.
At Melee?
Yeah.
That'd be so funny.
I don't think bad PP would be fun to interact with, dude.
Dude.
Bad PP would be that guy who, like not even bad, but just, not one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
Bad PP would be that guy who, comes for your neck on Smashboards, knowing everything.
Dude, so I forgot we talked about PP on Smashboards last week, and I forgot to bring this up. When I initially linked the post to Phil's stream, and he's reading through PP's posts, one of the pieces of advice, it just starts off with him saying, you could dash dance a couple more times here and then do this and that. And Phil was like, you know what? The difference between the advice you get from good players and bad players is just like the results and the ranking of the player you're getting it from. Because you can definitely see a bad player coming up to you and saying you should dash dance more. But when PP says it, you're like, of course I should dash dance more. It's brilliant.
That's one of the reasons that I talked about this before, but struggling with commentary and stuff, and
the ethos.
Not being a good player, but doing good commentary. And one of the realizations I've come to is that so much of being a good player is reacting in the moment and thinking in the moment and being able to do that while still playing the game.
Yeah.
It's honestly not that hard to look at a game in post and be like, oh yeah, this wasn't working.
Yeah.
This was. And that's one of the things that differentiates Melee from so many games. It's the speed, right? That's what we all love about it. It's how fast it is. And that's why it feels so frenetic, and why when you do make an adaptation, you feel it can be the simplest fucking thing in the world, but you're a genius for thinking of it. So, I don't know. But speaking of that, I did want to talk a little bit about my experience commentating this weekend, because I learned some things about commentary.
Yeah.
And about myself this weekend as a commentator, I think.
Like what?
So one of the critiques I got, so Jack and I got a lil roasted by Twitch chat for our commentary, which is fine, but it was more than usual. And then later I made a really big effort of reaching out to see what we could do better, because I felt like everything I said was super good. Mm-hmm. I felt like I was being really, really good. And what someone said is, I just felt like you guys are both good commentators, but you didn't mesh well together at all, which is really funny. The 2 times I've ever gotten that comment on commentary have been when I commentated with Jack, who I'm in Discord with, playing League with all the time, and when I commentated with Zoo, who is a really good friend of mine.
You need a stranger on commentary with you.
Well, when I commentated with a stranger, the skilled Roy, who is a no-tech skill Roy, and I'm going to say, I went in being like, Jesus Christ, is this guy? He was really great on commentary. Connor, you're I Facebook messaged you about this, but I really think you're a good commentator, and I really actually respect your reasons for playing the way you do. I still think you should play other ways, probably, maybe, but you gave the only...
What color Roy does he play?
Gold.
Oh, okay. I played some Roy this weekend, but I didn't know who it was. I think he was a blue Roy, though.
He plays a bunch of them, I think.
Okay.
The Asian guy with a 90 black thing that says...
I don't remember.
Anyways, but it was really good. But what I realized is people said we didn't mesh together, and I think it's because our commentary styles are actually too similar. Mm-hmm. And we were both trying to find little pieces of analysis to drop on without ever making it that conversational.
Yeah.
Listening back, one of the things I actually wrote down was be more like analog. Because I actually I was really sad that I don't know how much my personality came through in my commentary this weekend. Mm-hmm. And that's because I was so focused on providing good analysis and good informational tidbits and being a commentator who does prepare beforehand.
Yeah.
I've talked about this beforehand with like the blur thing. This might have been our first episode ever where we talked about Blur's whole tweet about how people need to be preparing more for commentary. I think
that might have been the first episode, yeah.
Yeah. But like as much as I think that tweet was weird in certain ways, I do want to be the commentator who actually knows matchup histories between players and stuff.
Yeah.
When so many people do not know that, which is sad because they're better at commentating than I am. So if they brought that in, I wouldn't need to do that.
Yeah.
But I think I eschewed being a relatable person, which I generally think I do pretty well in the Melee community too.
Yeah.
So, but the real big realization I had, so one of the things was to do that and to like let my personality show more and to slow down and let those tangents that are showing personality come more naturally rather than realizing, oh God, I've just been doing this for so long. But one of the other realizations I've had is that people have said for a really, really long time that play-by-play commentary in Melee is not a good thing to aim for, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. I think play-by-play should essentially only come as an extension of what's happening right now is so amazing, I literally don't know what to say.
I see.
Other than what's happening on screen. And so it should only express that energy, or as like expressing, oh my God, tension is happening, this is what's happening right now, that sort of stuff. But it should be an outlet for emotion rather than the goal of the commentary.
Yeah.
Because Melee doesn't move at a speed that allows for play-by-play. It just doesn't.
That's true.
And I thought I did a pretty good job of balancing that. But what I realized is that in terms of balancing a play-by-play and a color caster, that's not what you want for Melee. I think what you actually want is a play-by-play and what I'm thinking of as a vibe caster. Sorry, a color and a vibe caster.
Interesting.
I think you want one person who is really prepared with information and who can be relied on, because I always think peaks and valleys are more interesting, and that's one of the reasons why having two different commentators is so interesting, because it makes each thing good about the commentary feel more valuable.
Yeah.
Because it's...
Yeah, I've heard some commentary like very recently where they're kind of like saying things that are correct, but the energy is so monotonous that I immediately lose interest.
Yeah. And I think I didn't do a good job with peaks and valleys this weekend. I think that might have been one of the faults. But I think that a vibe commentator who sets the tone for the other person to adapt to is like actually what you need alongside the color commentator. I think that's why Brandon is one of the best commentators ever, because he vibes with everyone.
Oh, yeah,
with absolutely everyone. So I really want to commentate. I've commentated with Brandon once before, and it was not that great. It was just like, it was at a Super Nebs or something. It was sort of chill. But I want to commentate with him again, possibly. Brandon and I also hung out this weekend a lot, and that was fun. I want to commentate with Fendy really, really bad.
I think you guys would be good, actually.
Because we're really good friends. And I think that part of the thing is that Jack and I's banter doesn't translate well to commentary. Yeah. Just like Zoo and I's banter didn't translate well. If you've ever met Zoo is a really intentionally awkward person. He like loves making things awkward on purpose.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of our humor with each other.
I do that too, and that's why I love commentating with Zoo. We did some at Summit, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Also, I should say this, if you want to commentate with Fendy in the future, I have commentated with Fendy. We commentated at Pound.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll say something just like so utterly stupid or ignorant intentionally to kind of get a reaction out of my co-commentator. But Fendrick Lamar is a professional. So there are actually a number of occasions where he straight ignores me, and I have to sit in that awkward silence myself. And he's like, that was a great back air. And I'm like, man, now I just look bad. So
that's so funny.
So shout outs to Fendrick Lamar.
That's something I've been thinking about recently with when my co-commentator says something wrong but doesn't know that it's wrong and it actually was a fuck up, how to deal with that.
Right.
And I think it's better to just deal with it and say they were wrong.
Yeah, I would usually say something like, I think this is something.
Yeah. Yeah, like Jack just had like a flub that really anyone could make, because this is also something I was thinking about, but when you commit yourself to being the commentator who does know stats, if it makes the holes in your stats a lot more glaring.
Yeah, definitely.
More glaring than it is for people who just don't know anything.
Who are just like, I'm pretty sure this is this.
And so Jack made a really easy mistake where he was just like, oh yeah, None beat M2K and that shows he's good at the Marth matchup. And I was like, well,
he played Sheik.
M2K went Sheik in those matchups. And Jack was like, oh yeah, you're right, my bad.
Never mind, yeah.
Which, yeah, I think that's just the way to handle that sort of stuff. But I was like, well, I think M2K went Sheik in those matchups, and I think that sort of
it's better to not mislead people.
Friendly way is the way to do it.
There are some pieces of information that it's like it's not worth having the interaction to correct, but that definitely impacts the narrative of what's going on. So that's important to say. Yeah.
So the takeaway from this weekend is I got to be more relaxed, which I've been at Nebs and stuff when I've been commentating. So it's not going to be hard for me to do that, I think. Yeah. But to be more relaxed and show more of my personality. Thank you, Tafo, for talking to me about my commentary stuff. If you guys have any criticism, I really do think I do a good job with, I don't really care about hate that much. So send me your harshest critiques. And then the other takeaway is I think Fendy and I would actually be a really, really fucking good commentary duo. Yeah. Because I think he would bring out the more natural side of me while also being really receptive to me being the one who brings the really, really hard data. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Sorry, I went on a huge tangent.
No, this is good insight because I don't know if they've announced it yet or if I'm supposed to say it or not, but I'm actually commentating pretty soon at a tournament called Smash and Splash. Yeah. Which is going to be exciting. I don't know when and with whom I'm commentating yet, but I will be on that mic.
You got, when I was looking up commentary feedback threads on Reddit, because I needed to steal the formatting, I saw that Jack had done the commentary feedback thread for Full Bloom, and everyone loved your commentary when you stepped in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I filled in Brandon's slot with Vro. I really enjoyed commentating with Vro. We had a good back and forth going.
I can imagine that. But yeah. I've also heard a lot of people. Ryan K loves your commentary.
Really?
You're his favorite commentator because you are so deadpan when you say stupid shit.
Really?
He thinks that's the funniest shit of all time.
I love that. So many people tell me that they hate it, and I'm just like, no.
No,
I
love
clearly
it.
Awesome.
I love it too. It's honestly
that's just my everyday humor.
Yeah, it actually is. I think it's actually. It's one of the problems with your Twitter sometimes.
Yeah,
people don't.
They don't get it.
People don't know who you are, and they think you're just being snarky or an idiot. And it's no. Rishi's he's being dumb on purpose.
Yeah. Well, I'll definitely. That's actually a really important thing to note because I really need a co-commentator who will give me the reaction that I need.
Yeah.
Off of those kind of comments that I make.
I'm gonna reach out to. Well, Fendy's probably organizing commentary for Shine with Stock, but hey, Stock, put me on commentary with Fendy. I know you liked my work at the last Shine. I think that's the best commentary I've ever done in my life with Chroma. So
put me and Ipengu on the same commentary team, and we'll just do an episode of Analog.
Actually, should do that too.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the people I want to commentate the most with, who I haven't gotten a chance to commentate with now, are you, Fendy, and Slime, because Slime and I know each other, and we did 2 matches when Sleepy K couldn't make it to the venue on time at Genesis, and it was so fun. We talked about Oedipus complexes and how our families ruined us. It was really great.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, well, that about covers everything for this week. Looking forward this weekend,
except
all right, looking forward this weekend, we have a great tournament. Combo Breakers this weekend, which is hosting Eden 2, the sequel to the legendary Eden 1 tournament.
Yeah, and
which had lots of heavy hitters that were not gods at Melee.
I'm actually sad that this tournament didn't get that much entrance because Rick, the Hotto, who runs Combo Breaker, who also helped Gommel out, so shoutouts to Rick for that. We were thinking about doing help Major out. We're thinking about doing Major at Combo Breaker. Rick was really pushing for Melee to be bigger at Combo Breaker, and it didn't really get that big.
It got stuck between Gommel and Smash and Splash.
I also think they didn't make it clear very early that it was Eden 2, and I think if they had done that, it would have gone a lot bigger.
But the world we're living in now is a world in which Fendrick Lamar is seeded at 11 at a big tournament. So, you know what? He earned that seed because he was seeded outside of the top 64 at Gommel. And what place did he get?
He got 33rd?
33rd or 49th or something.
No. It was either 33rd or 25th. Yeah. I think it was 33rd because I remember seeing he tied with Ginger, and I know Ginger got 33rd.
And he took Dewan to last hit in both games that they played, which was so funny.
That's really funny.
Did
Dewan go? Dewan went Sheik.
Sheik, yeah. No, it was a Marth Sheik set.
Yeah.
Fendy's like neutral and punish game was actually not that bad, but once he got hit, he had no idea what to do.
Well, Fendy's punish game is amazing. Like, it's actually
he throws him off the stage, he down tilts them.
Yeah, but not even that,
amazing.
dude. He's actually really good at the pivot setups. Like,
yeah, no, he is.
He's
I'm not discounting.
He's
him.
trying to be you and Zain. Like,
right.
He's trying to.
He's the third big MDVA Marth. Watch out for Fendrick Lamar this summer, 2018.
Why doesn't Fendrick Lamar, the biggest of the MDVA Marths,
not simply eat the
other MDVA Marths?
Let's go, Fendy. He's going to absorb me and Zain. Anyways, that's a good note to end this podcast on. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tune in to Eden this weekend to watch Fendrick Lamar swallow the competition. And we'll tell you all about it next week. See ya.
I love laughing at my own jokes so much, dude. Bye, guys.